if he's playing, they might be a favorite.
Once they started figuring out, they started realizing, oh, wow, they are like a legit cup contender probably.
To see Carey Price become Daddy Price, that would be scary.
The NHL draft lottery is a joke. Let's be honest. The way they did it this year is an absolute joke. The way they do it every year is borderline a joke.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the WNP podcast. I am your host, Mike Mitchelson. Joining me today, as always, Chase Crawshaw, my co-host. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty swell. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing very well. That was really quick. I don't think I've ever done it that quick and that smoothly before. But it's going well, and it's just us two. Man, how long has it been since it's just been us two without a couple clowns joining us?
It's been too long because I'm tired of their nonsense, especially when it comes to Graham and Alex football takes.
Terrible.
I shiver because they're so freezing cold every time I hear them.
They're so bad.
Terrible.
Especially Graham's. Whenever he brings up the Lions, I cringe, honestly. Yeah. But, man, speaking a long time, it's been forever since we talked about hockey. I figured we need to talk about hockey now. We're only about a week away before we start to see some hockey action happening. I think the last hockey episode we released was in October.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we got busy with the Bolts broadcast. We figure if you guys really want our hockey info, you can come check us there. Especially with our broader group of people that are on the show. It's more of a football show. Me and you are both hockey guys, though, so it's good. It's just us two. We're able to talk a little bit of hockey as we're moving into this very unprecedented playoff format that I'm a little nervous but also excited for.
Yeah, absolutely. Bolts broadcast, if you don't know already, you probably should, but if you're a new listener and you don't know already, we do a podcast on the Tampa Bay Lightning as a part of the Hockey Podcast Network. You can check us out at Bolts Broadcast on Twitter, and then we're all over the place, Spotify and SoundCloud and Apple Music and all that. You can all check it out. But yeah, that's why we really haven't done much hockey content, like Chase was mentioning. We like to talk about all kinds of sports, and if we're talking about hockey already, why would we talk about it again in the same day, in the same recording session, But we're so excited for hockey right now that we decided, hey, we're coming back with Bolts Broadcast. Let's also talk about hockey on WNP, so this is what we're doing. Chase, we can be a little bit more biased towards our favorite teams in WNP. You're not very happy because something went down that really doesn't help you. But me, I'm donning my Pittsburgh Penguins shirt right now. It looks great, and I'm very happy where the Pittsburgh Penguins stand.
The NHL draft lottery is a joke. Let's be honest. The way they did it this year is an absolute joke. The way they do it every year is borderline a joke. To make it so... you want to do the draft lottery so you can get the news. I get it. There's nothing going on in sports. Hockey is kind of trailing behind every sport as it is anyway. So you want to do everything you can to get the news, but you do a horrible time advertising anyways. People don't even know what's going on. But then you do it. Like, you know what? We're going to do the normal odds. So teams 1 through 7, we know that they're out of the playoffs. But the 8 through 15, we don't know who's in or out of playoffs. So we're still going to give all these random teams a fair chance. And if someone wins that, we'll figure out what to do pretty much. Well, somebody won the first overall pick. So what's happening is all the teams that get eliminated from the play-in rounds have an equal 12.5% chance of getting that first overall pick. So that means, the Pittsburgh Penguins take a little bit of poop against the Montreal Canadiens, they can win the lottery. If the Toronto Maple Leafs, they take a little bit of poop, they can win the lottery. So these teams that are already full of perennial NHL All-Stars just get a free Alexis Lafreniere. The possibility of that just disgusts me. It should be one of the teams that really need it. I hope that a team like Columbus, who had no business making the playoffs this year, is the team that wins it, really. Because that's the only way I'm going to be really, really genuinely happy. I think Lafreniere fits in Columbus, too. I think it works out. He's the kind of guy that John Tortorella will love because he's skilled and he hits and he blocks. He does all that crap that you want a guy like that to do. So I think that'd be a good fit. So I'm just very angry because he would have been so pretty in a Red Wings jersey.
Yeah, and I really think that's the only team that would really deserve him that's in the play.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm looking at it. Columbus, like you said, definitely deserving. Toronto, no. Hell no. New York and Carolina, they're already pretty well off with Carolina's not even in their rebuild anymore, but New York,
The Rangers.
the Rangers, excuse me. They had one of the quickest rebuilds, and they're looking like they could be a team that could compete for quite a few years coming up. Then you look at the Islanders in Florida. I mean, Florida's a little underappreciated, but they still have amazing players in Barkov, Huberdeau.
Huberdeau really broke out this year too.
Yeah. Huberdeau's so good.
He's disgusting. He's
So good.
he's one of by far the most skilled players in the NHL, but it just never really got put together. But he really started to put it together this year. So it's great to see as a hockey fan because you want those small markets to succeed. So it's good that he's finally getting it going.
I saw a question on hockey Twitter, and it said, who's the most underrated NHL player? There's a lot of Jonathan Huberdeau's there.
It used to be Alexander Barkov. Like any guy that plays on that Florida team is going to be underrated until they finally get noticed. Then they start becoming I don't say Barkov's overrated, but he's definitely hyped up a lot now.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it could even be this year once they start getting noticed, because I think they could take out the Islanders.
It's doable for sure.
I don't find the Islanders to be very scary.
Yeah.
And the Islanders don't need Lafreniere because they don't know how to play offense, only defense.
It'd be a waste. He'd be a 40-point guy a year.
Yeah, that's the Barry Trotz system for you. The Montreal Canadiens, I just don't like them at all. And they have some good players. I guess you could say they need him, but I don't. Like, they've got Druin, they've got Kakaniemi. They're bringing over Alexander Romanov. They signed his contract. That's going to be fun to watch.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think they need them. My Penguins, I mean, I wouldn't mind.
It's so dumb.
So then we look at Arizona and Nashville. Like, maybe Arizona, because they're most definitely going to lose Taylor Hall. But they got Phil the Thrill. That's all they need. Clayton Keller. And they screwed up the Barrett Hayden pick. They shouldn't have taken him.
Yeah, they screw the pooch too much on their draft picks.
Exactly. And then Edmonton, Chicago. Edmonton, they've had way too many first overall picks. And Chicago, they've been good for too long. So screw them.
Facts.
Minnesota, they just brought over Kaprizov. Don't need them. And they're super boring.
Yep.
Vancouver, they've got Besser, Pedersen, Hughes.
Yeah.
Hughes.
JT Miller had a huge year in offense forward as well. So like, if he can continue that production, then they're fine. They don't need a guy like Lafreniere because they have young players coming up too.
Yeah. Winnipeg, probably a top 5 skilled unit on paper when it comes to the offense.
They are getting a little older, but like they still have a lot of years left.
But you still got guys like Vesalainen who's coming up. Laine's still early 20s. Scheifele is what, like 26, 27?
Yeah, he's about there.
And then,
of course, hometown boy Kyle Connor is just disgusting.
Kyle Connor, Ehlers. Blake Wheeler is the one that's getting older, but, I mean, they're still dynamite.
Blake Wheeler, Brian Little, a couple of their stars getting older.
Yeah. And Calgary, they got Kachuk. They're fine. Kachuk and Monahan. But, yeah.
Oh, not Johnny Gaudreau.
Who?
Oh, okay. Continue.
I thought he was getting traded.
Nope.
Or is that,
that's Brock Besser.
Oh, Brock Besser. Yeah, I don't know.
He's not getting traded. There's no way.
Yeah, but apparently Jack Eichel's getting traded too.
Yeah, no.
So
No.
There's just it's been stupid this little COVID offseason the NHL has had because everyone's getting traded, everyone's getting shipped off when really there's probably nothing happening whatsoever when it comes to the general managers' offices, whatever I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, the management for management.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Let's go with that. So, yeah, guys, we have hockey starting on July 28th. It's going to be some exhibition games on the 28th, 29th, and 30th. And then we have play-in rounds starting August 1st, as well as the round-robin games. That will go until August 9th. So, a lot of hockey to come. It's going to be very exciting. Chase, where are these hockey games being played?
So, two cities, I should say, from the Great White North in Toronto and Edmonton have the luxury of hosting the Eastern Conference and Western Conference respectively. So all these teams are going to get together in a hotel. They're going to play at these rinks, hockey all day long at these rinks, except for maybe not Rogers Place in Edmonton. It's a little bit of a leak by a little bit. It looks like Hurricane Katrina hit the rink. It's leaking pretty bad. They claim they're going to get it fixed and good to go by the time that players are reporting and playing. Hopefully that is the case. I want hockey back, but if for whatever reason they can't and it interferes too much where they can't get to the facilities, can't play, I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah, I've got no idea. And we mentioned it in the Bolts broadcast that maybe the Edmonton Oil Canes, but we believe that they play in Rogers Place. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. We're going to have to see what happens. We got some players that are sitting out due to concerns with COVID. We saw some players tested positive for COVID, like Austin Matthews. It came out that he had COVID. We believe he's healthy now, and pretty much everyone that did previously have it are healthy. They've been quarantined, and they're going to be ready to go for the NHL playoffs. But, Chase, who are some of the names right now that are sitting out for these play-in rounds / playoffs?
So we got Steve Kampfer of the Boston Bruins, Travis Hamonic of the Calgary Flames, Roman Polak of the Dallas Stars, Mike Green of the Edmonton Oilers, Carl Alzer of the Montreal Canadiens, and Sven Bierce of the Vancouver Canucks. So the most notable name there, Mike Green. He would help Edmonton being there. He's not going to kill them not being there. Most of these guys are just borderline players, scratches as it is. So it's not killer to these teams. It's a good thing we're not seeing any sort of stars sitting out. But it's still just a player missing that they might need to have called upon at some point.
I have no idea what you're talking about because Sven Barchese led my team and the whole league in scoring in NHL 13.
Buddy, he played in the American League all year.
Yeah, but he's really good in NHL 13.
Yeah, that was when Calgary drafted him and they called him up. He played those 5 games, hit 3 goals. Oh, this guy's nuts. And then no, it just never worked.
Yeah, and he's got 4.5-star potential. Back when that was a potential system in NHL, that was the good old days. I would get him every single freaking franchise, GM mode. It
was GM mode at the time.
Yeah, it's GM mode at the time. It was him and Yakupov. Those are the 2 guys that I went after, and both suck.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, it's unfortunate to see some players having the amount of concern that they do that they think they can't play. It's warranted. We're in a crazy time right now, but it's unfortunate. We would like to see everyone play. Chase, I am not very happy right now because yesterday we saw a report say that Crosby left the ice in the second period of what is it?
Inter-squad scrimmage?
A scrimmage. Yeah. We saw he left the ice early. Mike Sullivan said that he can't comment on it due to the NHL rules. I just saw a tweet now. He's not on the ice today. So not sure what's happening there. Not sure if it's an injury. Not sure if it's something else. But the Penguins can't comment on it right now. And I think if we lose Crosby, it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, that's a scary world, not having Sidney Crosby in your lineup. Even if you got Evgeny Malkin who can step up and he's number 1 center in pretty much every other team in the league, it's still scary not having Sidney Crosby in your lineup. I read somewhere that a lot of people think it's just a pulled hamstring, which if that's the case, he'll be fine, come time that actually needs to play. So, there would be no need to worry, but we don't for sure know what it is because of these rules that the NHL implemented where you can't discuss any sort of sickness, injury in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, it sucks. I just want the best players playing at all times. I don't care if they're on my favorite team, least favorite team. I want to see the best of the best. So it sucks that Crosby has a chance of not playing.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like with Crosby, he is the one player that I would put all my money on that day in and day out during COVID, he was in the gym working out, and he is the most prepared to come back and play. I think there's other players that were definitely working out and getting the work done, but I don't think there's a bigger gym rat or a guy who's been skating the longest than Sidney Crosby. So if he's playing, they might be a favorite. They might be a favorite. Even though they got to go into the play-in round, they could be a favorite because I think they're going to come out really hot because Sidney Crosby's got that team in shape. But if they don't have Crosby, they lose to Montreal. We get Alexis Lafreniere. I wouldn't be mad with that either.
That's not going to happen, so it's fine.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Because I think we're going to do some predictions for you guys for the play-in round. But we did some predictions over a month and a half ago on Bolts broadcast, and Chase picked Montreal over Pittsburgh. So
I did.
So if that's gonna happen, then we get Alexi Lafreniere.
Yeah, because
we have a chance.
Yeah, because like Carey Price, he gets ridden so hard on the team because their backup goaltending's been horrible. They finally have Caden Primo, who's looking like he could be a real stud, steal in the 7th round. But Carey Price has really carried the load for so long. He gets worked nonstop, and he still shows that he can be the league's possibly best goalie. But he's also shown signs of weakness, and you've seen that a lot of games. So Carey Price getting this break, I think, is really beneficial. If Max Domi can play, because he has diabetes, so they're worried about him playing. So if the full roster is there and Carey Price is on his game, like he's probably the most unbeatable goalie in the NHL in my eyes, like at the top of their game. So it's very possible that if he's just lights out, he does like a Jean-Sebastian Chiguera type of run with the
Anaheim?
Yeah, thank you. With Anaheim Ducks back then, where they lost in the finals, but he still won the Conn Smythe because he was just that good. Like something like that is possible with Carey Price.
Yeah, and that would be pretty scary to see, honestly. Like, not only for the Penguins with the playing round, but just seeing a team that barely snuck into the playoffs, and the only reason they're in here is because of COVID. They are the 12th seed. To see Carey Price become Daddy Price, that would be scary. And
it would be.
Like, oh, man, that'd be really tough. But we mentioned that the Minnesota Wild brought in Kaprizov. We mentioned that Montreal brought in Romanov. However, they're not able to play. What are your thoughts on that?
It sucks. It's part of the CBA, the way it works past signing deadlines and players playing in European League and stuff, especially the KHL, since there's no transfer agreement. So it's the rules. It sucks. You want to see him play. It would be super entertaining to watch him come in, get their first little bit of action, especially since I know for sure Kaprizov, he's getting his first year of his contract burnt. So it's like he was under contract for the 1920 season. It was part of his agreement for coming over, so he can get to that payment stage early because he's ready to get paid like an NHL player because he's that good.
Yeah.
But it sucks that they have to burn the year and they can't even use them. It would be super fun. It just adds another element to this wacky season as it is. But I get why they don't want to do it.
And I don't care. I legit don't care if it's unfair for, I'm the Vancouver Canucks and they shouldn't get a really good player. But I don't care. I want to see Kaprizov and Romanov play as soon as they can because Kaprizov was a top 3 player in the KHL. And Romanov is one of the...
Kaprizov was the best player outside of the NHL.
There you go. And then Romanov is one of the best young Russian defensemen in the world, league, whatever.
He's one of the best young defensemen in the world.
Yeah, but I had to put Russian in there because Russian players are cool.
Okay, true.
But I think he won defenseman of the tournament when it came to the World Juniors.
He did.
So I want to see them play so bad. And even though I'm versing the Montreal Canadiens as a Penguins fan, I don't care. I want to see Romanov play. So unfortunate, but it's going to be exciting to see them play next year. And that could be coming real soon because Gary Bettman has no plans to make the next season take into the next summer. If that's I don't know.
Yeah, they plan on playing a full season without having to keep the wacky schedule going. They're these playoffs are going to go till October, so they're going to have to at least wait a month. I'd say about December 1st is when is probably when they plan on playing. But if they really want to play 82 games and they're trying to condense it to end when it normally would, even if it's a month later, they're playing 4 or 5 games a week. NHL players can't sustain that. There's a reason baseball can do it. It's not a contact sport. Hockey's a contact sport. It's a very physically demanding sport. You can't just do that. That's like telling football players, oh, you guys are going to play games twice a week. Do you know how many injuries there'd be? It'd be nuts.
It'd be fun for the fans.
It'd be awesome, but there would be so many injuries, and it just it can't be done.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't know. That's unfortunate. Chase, why don't we get into some predictions for the playing rounds? We don't have to do the round robin or go into the first round of playoffs. Let's just talk playing. And then after that, we can talk a little bit more about the Red Wings because, this is a Detroit-based podcast, and a lot of people that listen are Detroit fans, so we really want to get into maybe what are the options for Detroit, even though they fell really hard in the draft lottery. But first, let's do the qualifying rounds, the play-ins. So let's start with the West. It's the most boring, I think. These are all 5-game series. So first up, Oilers versus Blackhawks. Your thoughts on this? Obviously, we haven't seen them play in forever, but your thoughts on that one?
Based on rosters, it could be a fun matchup. There's some skill, but on both these teams, there's some obvious lacking depth and not great goaltending anymore, especially with Corey Crawford at the end of his career. So it could be some good hockey. I think it'll be competitive. I don't think it'll be the most exciting series in my eyes, but it'll still be competitive, good hockey. I'm gonna have the Oilers taking this though in probably 3 or 4 games. I think they're it'll be close, but they're just better than the Blackhawks because they have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Those two are their generations. I should say Crosby and Malkin.
Yeah, most definitely. If you haven't been paying attention, Leon Draisaitl, he takes home the Art Ross, most likely the Hart when
he's winning the Hart
when the NHL awards rolls around. I'm going Blackhawks here because I don't know, Patrick Kane. He's got it, dude. He's got it. Duncan Keith, he's gonna revive his career in this playoff series. No, he's not.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Just like Brent Seabrook's gonna stop being a healthy scratch.
Yeah. Exactly. But we saw, who was it? Kubalik come in as a rookie and light it up.
Calder finalist.
Yeah. Strome, he is looking to really step his game up a notch. He, former 3rd overall pick, and really hasn't shown that he should have been a 3rd overall pick. And then also Alex Nylander. He was a top 8 pick, or top 10 pick. I think he was number 8. And he hasn't really shown it either. But because we're all in hub cities, the team is much larger. I think they can carry up to 50 players?
No, it's 30 skaters and unlimited goalies.
Oh, okay. So they can bring a little bit of extra
depth.
I was looking for a different
bodies.
Word. Oh well.
Schmucks.
There we go. So I'm going Blackhawks in 5. Maybe there's hate for the Oilers because they should not have been awarded Connor McDavid after having multiple 1st overall picks, and I still resent them for that. But, yeah, I'm going Blackhawks. Next up, Preds, Coyotes. Your thoughts?
I think it's Predators, and it's not even close. I think they're going to manhandle them. The Predators, they were just a team, they caught a very unlucky cold streak where it just wasn't working. Their roster's obviously so much better than it was. Once they started figuring it out, they started realizing, oh, wow, they are like a legit cup contender probably, and they just got to play in this playing around because they're a 6th seed. I think they are going to mop the floor with this Coyotes team and be one of the sleepers to push for the cup this year.
Oh, so I'll agree with the Predators Coyotes analysis. I'm not sure if I'm going to agree with the push for the cup. Could be. Dante Fabro comes in and he was really good this year.
Yeah, it was a very nice year.
And that's kind of crazy because it seems like Nashville already had a great defensive core, and then Dante Fabro comes in, looks really good.
They draft defensemen really well.
I think the only way the Preds don't win this series if they put out a stupid music video like they did against the Penguins and then just got freaking rocked.
That's fair.
But, yeah, I agree. Predators are just better. Like I say in Call of Duty, I'm just better. Preds are just better.
There you go.
All right, Canucks versus the Wild. A series I honestly think I am the least interested in the whole playing round. I mean, I'll watch it because it's hockey, but the Wild are so boring. The Canucks, they have some excitement to them, but I just think the series as a whole could be pretty boring.
Hopefully this game's played at like 10 o'clock Pacific time, so we can just sleep through it.
Yeah.
But like it should be the Canucks. Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, Quinn Hughes, Jacob Markstrom, Thatcher Demko backing them up. JT Miller had a big year. They've got the pieces that Minnesota just doesn't have.
Yeah, 100% agree. Next up, Flames versus Jets. This is a series I'm actually pretty interested in because the Jets, they are lacking on defense. The Flames, they're lacking in net. They both have pretty solid offensive cores, and I think it's going to be a pretty excited one.
It should be. I think if Connor Hellebuyck comes in, plays at the top of his game like he did all year, it should be good hockey, but a still fairly easy win for the Jets just because that goaltending mismatch is so large. But I think it'll be competitive. This one could really go either way. At the end of the day, though, I'm going to lean Jets just based on Connor Hellebuyck being able to stop any single player in the NHL if he really wants it any night.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think the Jets have a little bit better of an offense, too. Yeah. I mean, Flames have great offensive pieces, Kachuk, Monahan, Gaudreau, but the Jets just have that much more, I think. And with that, if that does happen, we're not going to see the Battle of Alberta.
Which would suck.
That's going to suck, but it is what it is. Next up, the play-in rounds on the Eastern side. Let's start with your favorite team, the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Montreal Canadiens. Like I said, the last time you picked this one, you picked the Canadiens. Your thoughts on this one?
See, when I picked the Canadiens,
More out of smite.
Gensel was still like, a little bit. He was still a little iffy on playing. The team wasn't that healthy. The goalies looked pretty rough at a lot of points for Pittsburgh this year. Jari had a nice year when Murray was struggling. But so everyone should be healthy, especially if Crosby's good to go for this. It should be the Penguins. I'm not going to be that surprised if the Canadiens win because it'll be on the back of Carey Price posting like a 960 save and a 1.02 goals against, something stupid like that, So it's possible, but the Canadiens are not winning because of goal scoring. They are winning because of goalie. That's the only way they win.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if Crosby's out, then it's gonna be a close series. But I think Crosby's in, the Penguins take this like 3-1, maybe even 3-0, just because.
Yeah, that's very possible.
I mean, we were talking about it the other day. We just forgot some of the players the Penguins have because it's been so long, and also they just acquired them so recently, like Jason Zucker, Patrick Marleau. Tanev was an offseason acquiree. John Marino, who was amazing in his rookie year.
Came out of the scene.
Yeah, and he was injured towards the end of last season. He's going to be healthy now, Jake Gensel, like you mentioned, so I just think the Penguins are better, and they're going to take it pretty handily if Crosby is there. Next up, Hurricanes versus Rangers, a series I know you're excited about.
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about. Your thoughts on who's going to take it?
So I think the Rangers are the team that really takes this one. Like Carolina, they probably have the better core skating, but the Rangers are a really safe team in now because Henrik Lundqvist is still Henrik Lundqvist. He's going to perform. If he struggles, then you got Shesterkin who can come in, or Alexander Georgiev if can come in too. They have three goalies who could start 60 games a year on that team. So they're in a really good spot. Plus Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, Adam Fox, Tony DeAngelo. Those four really carried that team pretty heavily this year, along with good enough goaltending. So if everything comes together, a lot of rest, especially since Hank isn't an older goalie. He's 38 if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to have this rest season come in ready to go. This team could really do some damage in these playoffs.
I agree, and if the Penguins can't win it, the Rangers are a team I want to win it. I think Hank deserves it. Hank is a Hall of Fame goalie. Hank is just my favorite goalie of all time, probably. I mean, Hasek, I think, is the best, and I love watching older goaltenders play, and I love watching Fleury, who was with the Penguins for so long, but Hank's been my guy. I absolutely love him. So
Dominator's my guy.
I'm rooting for the Rangers, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Now we look at the other New York team, the New York Islanders versus the Florida Panthers. Who do you think take this one?
I don't know. I'm a little iffy on this one. This could be a pretty boring series, not because of Florida, because of the Islanders. They play really good defensively. They have no offense. They have Matt Barzal, who had an 85-point rookie season, and then they hired Barry Trotz, and Matt Barzal kind of barely plays for being by far the best player on the ice, one of the best players in the league because of the system they play. I mean, they get it done offensively. They get it done as a group. It's like the Patriots. It's the star players aren't even really the ones that are truly performing. Everyone just gets it done so collectively and gets it done so well collectively. But this Panthers team, Sergei Bobrovsky, when he is playing to his full potential, he's one of the league's best goalies. But you've often seen, especially this year, he likes to not play to his potential. So I think it really is on the back of Sergei Bobrovsky. If he comes in and performs, it'll be a very low scoring, still probably 4 or 5 game series that the Panthers could win. But in general, I'm going to lean the Islanders.
Okay, I'm going to give this one to the Panthers. I think this was a nice reset for Bob. Like you said, Bob is a guy that can carry this team to far places, but he has been pretty inconsistent recently. Bob, terrible season with the Panthers after getting a big contract. I think this is a nice reset. He's got 4 months to kind of relax a little bit, get a little bit more settled, and he can look at this in a new light. I got a chance to help this team win a Stanley Cup. Let's get back on my game. Let's get it going. Let's get to that Vezina level that I've been at multiple times with the Blue Jackets. So I'm going to lean the Panthers, and I just don't want the Islanders to win because it's just going to be more boring hockey in the future rounds. So.
Yeah, no, that's all very fair.
Next up and last, the Maple Leafs versus the Blue Jackets. This one is interesting. Although the teams on paper don't look close at all, we've seen the Blue Jackets and John Tortorella surprise teams before, and we've also seen the Maple Leafs choke quite tremendously before. So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I hope it's the Blue Jackets because, like, whatever with the Maple Leafs. Sure, I love Austin Matthews, so it'd be cool to see him, like, just carry this team going beast mode. But it's cooler if the Blue Jackets win it. At the same time, though, they're the only team I want, as you mentioned, to really win that lottery pick. So I wouldn't really care either way at the end of the day. It would just be funny if Toronto lost to the Blue Jackets this way.
It would be really funny, but I'm going to have to lean towards Toronto. They got the skill. The Blue Jackets, like you mentioned just now and earlier on in the show, the Blue Jackets are really the only team that deserve that first overall pick, because they don't have that skill in their organization right now.
No, they've got some nice players, don't get me wrong, but like they don't have a game changer.
Exactly. So, and the Maple Leafs have 4.
Yeah.
So, yes, got to lean towards the Maple Leafs there. But now you know our play-in round predictions. Hockey starts July 28th with exhibition games, and then the play-in start August 1st. A lot of fun stuff to happen. But Chase, before we log off here, let's talk about the Red Wings. We know they have the 4th overall selection. It seemed like really it was a top 2 coming into the draft. Now, getting later on into the summer, we're starting to see 3 names really pop up, and they got that 4th selection. So what is your hope for the Red Wings in this draft?
My real hope is that, for whatever reason, Quentin Byfield, some people have Quentin Byfield ranked as low as like 6 in the draft, which is a sickening joke. If you ask me, I've watched this kid play. He's disgusting. He's a man amongst boys, and he's still not even close to reaching his potential. He easily, not even close, has the high ceiling in this draft. Lafreniere has a pretty high ceiling, and I don't think he could touch Byfield's ceiling. I think Byfield could be a perennial lead the league in points type guy, but he also does have a floor that is kind of low that it could be very disappointing. So I hope Byfield's the guy that somehow falls to 4. Realistically, top 3 should be Lafreniere, Byfield, Stützle in that order, if you're asking me. At that 4 pick, selfish reasons, Cole Perfetti. It'd be cool to see him come to the Red Wings. I watched this kid grow for the last 2 years, do some really stupid things in the OHL, things that a 16, 17-year-old just should not do. I would be happy if, I'd be perfectly fine if Askarov came, big Russian goalie, right-handed guy. You don't see that too much anymore. He's got the real potential to be one of the league's best to ever do it. I'm not into any of the defense this year. Jamie Drysdale's good. Jake Sanderson's solid, but they're just not the guys for me. So really, it's Cole Perfetti, Yaroslav Askarov, and then if one of the Swedes between Raymond and Holtz go there too, he can't complain about that.
Yeah, most definitely. And the one thing, we talk about Askarov all the time, especially on the Bolts broadcast. I don't really know if we've talked about him much on WNP, because again, our last episode was October. We really started talking about him a lot when it came to the World Juniors times. But he is a top 5, maybe even top 3 talent in this draft. And this draft is incredibly deep, and the only reason you could see him go out of the top 10 is because he's a goalie.
Yep.
Like, they're saying that he is as good as, like, Carey Price. So it's going to be fun to see what happens, and I would love to see Askarov go to the Red Wings. I know the Red Wings probably have some more important needs to fill right now, but
like, teams have won Stanley Cups with average rosters and game-changing goalies.
Yeah.
So, and he's got everything you want from a game-changing goalie.
Exactly. So it's going to be fun to see. I know you're interested, although sad.
Oh, I'm very disappointed but not surprised.
There you go. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, and who knows, maybe they go off the board and take, like, Lucas Reichel.
No. I mean, we saw Stevie take a German last year, so if his boy Stützle's gone, maybe he's like, all right, give me Lucas Reichel or JJ Peterka. I like JJ Peterka a little better, so if they're going to really do that, and if I'm going to cry, at least cry some tears of joy, because I really like JJ Peterka, so then take him, but do not take him.
At 4, yeah.
No.
That'd be terrible.
Do not do that.
But, so that's pretty much it. That's Chase's hopes for the Red Wings, and you now know our play-in predictions, and we're just excited for hockey to be back. I mean, we talk about football all the time. We still got a long ways until we see the players on the field. We are only a week and a half before we start to see some players on the ice for hockey. So
yeah, we've already seen some practice pictures, and it's getting me going.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's super exciting for sure. So we want to thank you guys for coming out and giving us a listen. If you want to stay up to date with all that we do, you can follow us on Twitter at WNP Sports Pod. Our other socials are going to be in the description if you want to check those out. Leave a comment, give us a like, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell if you are watching on YouTube. If you're watching anywhere else, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anything like that, make sure to rate us 5 stars. We really appreciate you guys for coming out and giving us a listen. And as always, we're not professionals.